Over the years, Apple has launched iPhones that people absolutely loved and some that left users scratching their heads. Now just to be clear, hated doesn't always mean it didn't sell well. Some of these iPhones were commercially successful but had issues or just didn't make sense. So let's dive into 7 of the most loved iPhones and 7 that people weren't exactly excited about. Let's start on a high note, the iPhone 4S. People love this one as it fixed most of the issues found on the iPhone 4, like antenna issues, introduced Siri for the first time, a better 8-megapixel camera that can now record in 1080p, and a faster Apple A5 processor with the introduction of iCloud 2. The design still looked premium and overall it was seen as a polished version of the iPhone 4. And even today you will see a slight touch of this legendary phone's design in latest iPhones. The iPhone 4 looks stunning, glass body, stainless steel frame, a design leap for Apple. Basically just like the iPhone 4S. But with all that beauty came with a major flaw, antenna kit. And this is very different from the iPhone 4S. If you held the phone in a certain way, the signal would drop, calls would cut out automatically. It became such an issue that even Steve Jobs had to address it, telling users to just hold it differently or use this stupid case. It still sold well, but for many it was the first time Apple's hardware choices felt like a step backwards under the new polished design. But I can say the same for the iPhone 5C. It was supposed to be Apple's affordable iPhone, but it wasn't exactly cheap. The plastic build and candy colors felt less premium and most people just went for the iPhone 5S instead. Not a total failure, but kind of pointless, as it had the same hardware from the iPhone 5 with a cheap build, whereas the iPhone 5 was still available with a premium build at around the same price, so it didn't make much sense. Speaking of an iPhone 5, now this one people loved, the iPhone 5S. It introduced Touch ID, the first 64-bit processor which was an Apple A7 processor, and had great performance in a small, elegant design with better camera outputs. It also had a new gold color that stood out. The 5S felt premium, fast and futuristic back in 2013, and I absolutely loved this metallic look, even though the sharp edges felt a bit uneasy to use for long term. Then came a phone that was big, thin and bendy. The iPhone 6s Plus became infamous for the bend gate issues that snapped like a Kit Kat. People started noticing that it could literally bend just from being in your pocket. It also had bigger display but with an HD resolution, so that meant way less sharp display, and also was way too slippery to use without a case. So people basically avoided this one. Now the regular iPhone 6 on the other hand was a hit, even though it had also the same bend gate issues due to that sleek and poor build quality, but was way less prone to getting damaged as it was a more compact device. Larger display, a sleek metal design, and overall a major jump from the iPhone 5s though. So it basically became one of the best selling iPhones ever and basically the most sold iPhone ever actually, and for many it was their first big screen iPhone experience. So overall people loved it. But one release that confused a lot of people was the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Why? Because the iPhone X or 10 launched right alongside them. They had older designs with big bezels while the X looked modern. The 8 series wasn't that bad, it had better cameras than before, better performance than before, with wireless charging now, but it felt like an awkward middle child no one asked for, and it was basically left abandoned. Apple made a bold move with the iPhone 7, removing the headphone jack, but instead you get stereo speakers now. Despite the controversy, the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus were actually very well received. Water resistance, better cameras and a clean design. The iPhone 7 Plus even introduced portrait mode with its dual camera setup, which quickly became an iconic feature for any smartphone even today. Now let's talk about one of the strangest decisions Apple made sort of recently, the iPhone SE 2022. They packed a powerful A15 chipset inside a design from 2017, so it was basically a gas oven when put under stress while doing anything heavy. No MagSafe, no modern display, and a tiny 4.7-inch IPS screen at around 44,000 rupees, which some liked but a lot of people hated. For a 2022 launch, it just felt outdated and overpriced with poor battery and thermal balance. Back to the good stuff, the iPhone X or the 10. Apple's big redesign for the 10th anniversary. No home button, only an edge-to-edge OLED display with Face ID, which was futuristic, bold and totally different, forcing other companies to follow this new smartphone trend. And yet again, just like the first ever iPhone launch, this one also reshaped the smartphone industry. Was it expensive? Yes, but it set the stage for the modern iPhones we see today or even smartphones in general. Apple thought people missed compact phones, so they gave us the iPhone 12 mini. And while the size was cute, the battery life wasn't. It struggled to last a full day, had heating issues, and simply didn't fit most people's lifestyle. Sales were so poor, Apple discontinued the mini lineup soon after the iPhone 13 mini, which was the last of its kind, but it also faced the very same issues. Now Apple got this one right, the iPhone XR. It was affordable compared to the iPhone XS or the XS, and had a great battery life, Face ID, and came in fun colors, basically just like the iPhone 5C. But unlike the iPhone 5C, this one made it clear of its value, so this one worked perfectly. Sure, it had an LCD display, but it offered fantastic value and quickly became one of Apple's best sellers, especially after discounts. And finally, a very recent entry, the iPhone 15 Pro. People expected big upgrades, but mostly it was the same. Apart from the USB-C and a titanium frame, there wasn't much new. It was not a bad phone, but many users felt underwhelmed, especially at that price point. The iPhone 16 Pro series isn't any better from this one, but after the iPhone 15 Pro, people just stopped expecting anything big from Apple. So people weren't surprised or disappointed that much this time. We'll wrap this list with a solid and dependable iPhone 13, which people still buys in 2025, and for context, it's almost an 4 years old iPhone. It didn't try to reinvent the wheel, but that's why people liked it, I guess. Excellent battery life as compared to the prior compact iPhones, smooth performance, and reliable cameras made it a fan favorite. So even today, it's one of the best selling all-rounder iPhones you can buy. So that was a trip through the iPhones people loved and the ones they wish Apple had thought through a little more. So what's your most loved or hated iPhone of all time? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like and subscribe for more tech stories, and maybe watch this video too. And till the next one, this was Ridip. See you guys.